Hi, I'm Remy from PockEmul. In this PockEmul tour, we're going to explore the HP-71b, one of Hewlett-Packard's most powerful handheld computers. We'll start with a basic 71, then add extensions step by step and finally focus on the HP-IL, the HP interface loop. Let's start with the HP-71b in its basic configuration. No extension, no peripheral, just the machine itself. We can enter commands, run programs, and everything is perfectly usable. This is a reference point, a clean system. Before going further, let's take a look at the documentation. The 71 is a powerful machine, but also a complex one. You really need to explore the documentation to understand all its features. In PockEmul, documentation is always available through the context menu. From there, you can access manuals, technical references, and module documentation related to the current machine. This makes it much easier to explore the HP-71b while learning how it actually works. Now let's add some extensions. We need to rotate the machine to access all available slots. There is a PockEmul tool showing the different ways to rotate the machine. Just by touch on the slot, PockEmul shows all available memory modules or RAM module, for example, force. The system detects when you add or remove a module. Let's start force and display the dictionary. Everything seems to work as expected. While PockEmul does not emulate the magnetic card reader, the high-capacity memory modules intended for the 5th port are fully supported. Another very useful feature in PockEmul is the ability to inspect the hardware configuration. Using the context menu, you can see the content of each port and exactly which chips are connected to it. This is extremely helpful when working with extensions, RAM or custom configurations. You always know what is plugged in, where it is connected and how the machine is built internally. It's a great way to understand the hardware architecture of the HP-71b. Before moving on, let's enter a small program using the keyboard simulator. There is a PockEmul tool dedicated to this feature. We can now overclock the CPU up to 100 times. I will type a very simple program to compute the value of pi. Let's run the program. One of the most remarkable capabilities of the HP-71b is its advanced handling of the HP-IL loop. This is achieved through a dedicated module that combines a powerful HP-IL controller chip with a RAM offering high-level commands. Now let's add the HP-IL module. HP-IL is not just a bus, it's a loop. Each device receives messages, processes them, and forwards them to the next device. The loop must be closed for the system to work correctly. We recommend reading in detail the corresponding documentation. In PockEmul, the loop can be built manually. This gives you a lot of flexibility, but it also means you need to keep the loop coherent. Now that the loop is complete, let's actually use the peripherals. I make a restore IO to reassign HP-IL addresses. I could have just turned off and on the device. When you power on the HP-71b, all the peripherals on the loop are scanned. By default, the first display class device found is defined as display output. When we run the small program that computes the value of pi, this time the output is sent to the video peripheral. This 71 doesn't really care where the output goes, as long as the HP-IL loop is coherent. Now let's look at the printer. Printer is printer. We could have made printer is 2. Using the plist command, we can send the current basic program listing directly to the printer. Now let's look at what happens when the HP-IL loop is modified. If a device is disconnected while the system still expects it to be present, the loop becomes incomplete. Like on a real HP-71b, this can lead to instability because the system continues to communicate with a device that is no longer there. There are several correct ways to handle this situation. You can try pressing 2 times on the on key. The HP-71b can regain control. If it doesn't work, you can also unplug and plug again the HPL module and rebuild the loop connections. As a last resort, a master factory reset will restore a clean configuration, but this will erase all memory. There is a dedicated chapter in the official HPIL model documentation covering loop instability. The key point is that HPL expects a coherent loop, and it's important to manage changes properly. Don't hesitate to save your session as often as necessary. The HP-71b is an extremely robust pocket computer, and HPIL is a powerful and elegant system. With proper documentation and clear visibility of the hardware configuration, it becomes much easier to explore its full potential. PockEmul gives you the tools to understand both the software and the hardware aspects of these machines. Enjoy PockEmul.